Hello comrades, yes it's me, a Yorkshireman now living in Wales, and I hope everybody's okay. So, today's video is about tax, HMRC. Yes, everybody loves the tax, don't they? And I'm going to tell you the situation which I found happened to me, which is, I'm going to say really odd, very sneaky, very underhand. So, I moved from England into Wales. Most people will have gathered that. But now we've got a new gang in charge, and the gang this time are Plaid Cymru, and it would appear at face value they're not keen on Yorkshiremen, on Englishmen should I say. However, luckily I'm a Yorkshireman, I have my own culture, my own way of speaking, my own little differences, so I'm going to say Yorkshire people are a separate race to the English race. That's a bit of a joke in there somewhere. Anyway, back to the subject. So, I have worked in the past, and sometimes I wish I hadn't bothered. I wish I'd joined everybody else and literally just said, I don't have to bother, I'll just live off the state and everybody else. Because sometimes, on reflection, I think I should have done that. Anyway, I then open up my little bit of a pension statement, and I see that I've paid £3.80 tax. Anyway, I have to sit down and have a cup of tea and understand what's going on here. So the first thing I did, I looked at my tax code. My tax code has magically changed from, I think the normal one is 1257 to 1115. And I thought, what's that about then? So I went through my paperwork, and what I found is that during the time I moved, my tax code changed. But I can't understand the rationale for it. So at this point I think, well, I better ring up the HMRC. So I was on the phone for 15 minutes, they then answer it, I then go through this bizarre thing, which then goes on and on and on. So after another 5 minutes I then speak to somebody, and I just ask him the simple question, what's come on? Why am I paying tax? My tax code has changed, why? And then he said, literally, this is his very own words, oh, we've estimated the interest you're going to get on your savings. And I went, sorry, I don't get that. And he said it again. I said, so you've had a guess that I've got savings and that the interest is going to means that I have to pay more, that impacts on my tax code. I went, yeah. Now if you think about it, it doesn't work like that, because when you lower your tax code, as in I'm being brought into paying tax. So if I had interest on savings, which meant I would go over the 1257 tax limit, that would happen automatically. But they, by lowering it, have decided, based on fabrication, literally made up stuff, that I should pay tax sooner. So at this point I just said to him, well, I have no savings like that, and just put my tax code back. So he goes away, after 5 minutes comes back and says, yeah, we'll sort it. He didn't, that's not his exact words. I went, right, so you're going to notify me? And he says, oh, your pension provider will. I went, right, so I'd have to wait. He says, yeah. And that was it. Anyway, the good news is my tax code is literally back to what it should be, which is 1257. Now, what I find really weird about all of this, so I looked into it, and there are sort of, like anything to do this day and age, with any government and the rest of it, it's all very confusing and misleading, isn't it? And this is what you call technocratic government. Everything is about rules and the rest of it, so they can confuse people and mix us up. But let's just say, should they have notified me? Yes. So over 2 years ago, they should have sent me notification. They failed to do that on purpose. I'm going to say on purpose. For the simple reason is, if I hadn't been paying attention, and it's not one of the things you check on a regular basis, it's only because they took £3.80 off me that I realised what was going on. Just think, if another 2 years I'd have not noticed that, I'd not paid attention, I'd not opened my pension statements. Just think what then would have happened. I might not notice at all, and they're just taking more money off me. And the reason they're doing that, of course, is to punish me for doing the right thing, for working, for saving, for doing a job. Yeah, basically, I do feel as if I'm being punished. And the greatest scam of all of this is so they can take money off everybody else and give it to the other people who've done nothing at all. So what actually happens, it's called equity. So we get dragged down to the lowest level possible, so these people here are now equal to us. That's a sort of rough explanation of what happens. It's great, isn't it, really? So I still go back to why did I bother? I don't know. Anyway, so the bottom line is check your tax code at all times. Keep an eye on it, because literally they're not going to notify you legally and by whatever means, what you want to call it. They should notify you. They won't notify you. And I have a feeling that if you have like moving house and major upheaval in your life, they'll change it then, because you know it's not one of the things you change when you move. You do everything else. I didn't think I'd have to check my tax code. As I say, luckily I caught it. And other news is I've now had notification. Guess who from? Not HMRC, who should be telling me, but from my pension provider. Now if you're in a private pension, I don't know whether or not they'll tell you. I have no idea. So I now have a decision to make. Do I put in a long-winded, what I'll end up in no complaint process, no outcome, nothing will happen, about £3.80. I need to weigh that up and think about it. Right, comrades, thank you for watching. Hope everybody's okay, and well, sun's just come out, so chin up and all that. Catch you on the other side. Thank you.